Frisco first baseman Chris McGuiness is a 6'1", 210-pound lefty who has some pop in his bat. The native of Charleston, South Carolina, played his college baseball at the Citadel, where he hit .367 and had 15 homers and 50 runs batted in as a junior in 2009. He learned how to be patient at the plate playing at the Citadel, where he led the nation in walks with 65 and had a .520 on-base percentage.
We had good guys hitting in front of me in college. I hit a lot of times with guys on second, third, or whatever, so RBI opportunities, but there's also a base open, so it helped me be selective. I had a coach tell me, instead of going 1 for 4, if you go 1 for 3 with a walk, you're hitting 333 instead of 250, and I kind of clicked. I never wanted to walk, but whenever I started to see my average go up in my own base percentage, it made more sense.
McGuiness was drafted by the Boston Red Sox in 2009 and was eventually traded to the Texas Rangers organization, where he worked his way through the minors to where he is now with Frisco. McGuiness is a power hitter who is second on the team in homers and runs batted in. McGuiness says he does not try to hit home runs. He is simply trying to make good contact and let the rest take care of itself.
You can't really control it. You can't try to do it. You just go out there and hit it hard. If it goes, it goes.
McGuiness was an Atlanta Braves fan growing up in the South and enjoyed watching players like Chipper Jones perfect their swings.
We'd always go to Braves games just because they were the closest to us. So, growing up in the early 90s when they had Justice and Glavine and Maddox and all that, I was probably say if I had to pick a team, it'd be the Braves.
Kind of cool watching Chipper Jones the other night in the All-Star game.
Yeah, he's one of the best third basemen, hitters, switch hitters, ever to play the game. So, I like watching Chipper play, but for him to be as old as he is and, doing the things he still is unbelievable.
McGuiness told us a funny story of his dad's cousin, who was a former major leaguer who was once traded for a big-name player.
My brother was doing a book report on Roger Maris. It was a funny story. We had known that my dad's cousin got traded for Roger Maris, but in the book report it said Roger Maris was traded for a redneck from South Carolina by the name of Charlie Smith, and that was my dad's cousin. So that was funny, but other than that, we're pretty low-key.
Chris McGuiness has been coming up big all season long for Frisco. He had a big 2-run single against Corpus Christi. After all, the Rough Riders did win the South Division. They're guaranteed a playoff spot in the postseason.
The last thing you want to do is go into the playoffs and have a terrible second half and, have guys that, aren't playing at their best right there. So we're picking it up. We're playing really well right now, so it's a long season.
McGuiness enjoys playing first base, a position the Rangers organization certainly has a need at. Chris says it's not as easy as it looks.
We were laughing about the other day, they always talk about, guys are getting old that play third or outfield, we'll move them to first. And I was like, well, that's great. The position I play is people's last resort, if he's too unathletic to play anywhere else, put him at first. But basically just try not to let it in the outfield, and if they throw it in the dirt, pick it. And, other than that, it's pretty simple, but it can get tricky at times.
McGuiness is a great defensive first baseman. He has made his fair share of picks, as he calls it, at first, which keeps runners off the base paths.
Like sometimes our infield coordinator will come in and they'll hit fungos and try to short hop them to you. That's the best way I've known to practice picking the ball out the dirt.
McGuiness knows he only needs a shot at the big leagues, but it's not something that consumes him.
We've been doing it since we were 5, 6 years old, so it's basically your whole life, putting into this one goal, and hopefully it'll happen one day, but it's hard to, everybody says it's really hard to make it there, and it's even harder to stay up there, so odds are against us, but we'll just see what happens. You got to play hard every night, but it's an extra incentive when you might have Nolan Ryan every now and then in the stands.
Chris McGuiness is certainly trying to make a name for himself, even if he catches a little grief for his last name from time to time.
I hear, Guinness beer, McMuffin, all this stuff, so I've heard it all, but going to a military school, they've told me anything or made fun of me about anything I could even imagine and some, so these fans, they're not going to get to me.
Down on the farm with Frisco, Jeff Power, Rangers Insider.